You're listening to Unmuted with Papa Mutes.
Welcome to Papa Mutes, everybody. Today, my guest is Mark Travis. Mark is a director, writer, actor, consultant. Mark is regarded by international professionals as the world's leading authority in the art and craft of film directing, also the creator of the Travis Technique. Mark, welcome to Papa Mutes.
Thank you, Papa Mutes, and it's wonderful to be here with you.
Now, you're in Hawaii, so I have to, cut to the chase. How's the weather?
Yep.
I mean, important stuff here.
Well, this is going to sound boring. It's the same. It's sunny. It's about 70 some degrees out there, and the sun is shining, and the beach is beautiful, and it's pretty much the same all year round. It doesn't change that much here.
I feel bad for you.
So it's beautiful. It's gorgeous.
Now, is it? Is it humid? Or no?
Oh yeah, it's humid.
Oh,
it's tropical. It's not Florida. Florida is somewhat humid, but it's very, very tropical. It's very humid. So a lot of people who come here have to get used to the humidity. Or like when I go back to LA, I have to get used to the dryness in LA because that's desert, and it's you can feel it, but it's humid. But that's good. Humidity is good for the skin. It's good for the health and everything.
Rather be warm than cold. That's for sure.
Yep.
So, before we go into backstories, what is the Travis Technique?
Well, that's a great question. The term, the Travis Technique, over my years of doing this work has been applied to a lot of different things. Now it's applied to everything I do. So it's a combination, really, of many, many techniques that I have developed or use or have discovered in the art and craft of film directing, filmmaking, which, and stepping back a little bit even from that in terms of storytelling. My primary focus is on storytelling. Now, then it goes quickly into theater and film and all of that. But the Travis Technique is a collection of techniques, primarily working with script, actors, characters, performance, and things like that.
Now, what got you just to backtrack into film way back when? What was your initial, hey, I want to get involved with film or directing or acting, because it's not an easy business?
Okay, if you have a moment, I'll tell you an interesting story.
I'm here.
This goes back to my college years, and I was going to Antioch College, which you may not know about, and most of your listeners won't know about it. It's a very progressive college in Ohio, and it's a college that is really set up to help people who don't know what they want to do in their life find a purpose, find a goal. And so, because of that, I got in, and because I was really wandering around. In terms of what I wanted to do with my life, I had no idea. And one day I was walking across the campus and really thinking, where am I going? What am I going to do? Really in that mood. And I heard a sound. And the sound I heard was the sound of a very sharp saw cutting through wood, that high pierced sound.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my father was an amateur carpenter. More than amateur, he restored houses and things like that, and he taught me how to use all these tools. So this had an emotional connection for me. So I heard that sound, and I said, "Okay, I'm going towards that sound." I went to the sound. I come up upon this big building, and I look inside, and people are in there cutting wood, they're building something. I don't know what they're building, and I'm watching. And someone says, "Can I help you?" And I said, "No, I'm just curious. I'm watching it." And they said, "Well, do you want to help? We could use some more help." And I said, "Yeah, I'd love to," because I sort of knew what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started helping them. And then eventually, I don't think it was the same day, but eventually they said, they were looking at blueprints, and they said, can you read blueprints? Well, I'd been studying architecture and all that, so I could read blueprints. And they said, "Could you build this?" And they showed me a blueprint of a wooden stool. I said, "Oh yeah, I can build that." They said, "Okay, build that." So I built it. all this building, I was happy. I was really, really happy, Paramus. I was having a great time. I had really not too much of an idea what we were doing. Later, not that much later, I discovered we were building a set for a play.
Mm.
I went, oh, okay. And so I kept working with them, and I helped all the way through the mounting of the set and putting it up and everything like that. And that's what pulled me into the world of theater. And I realized what a wonderful time these people were having in an environment of make-believe, creativity, imagination, and all that. And I was happy there. So I stayed. And then quickly, didn't take long. I helped build a lot of sets. Then I started designing sets. I'd had some background in design and art and architecture. I would design sets and I would build sets. And one day I'm watching a play that I had designed the set for. It was a Brecht play, The Good Woman of Szechuan. And I was watching it, and I'm watching the actors on the stage on my set. And I thought, I think they're having way more fun than I am. So then I decided I will try acting. So I went to auditions and stuff like that. I eventually got into a play, and then I was into a major production they were doing. This is at college, and I was the lead. And I remember one day standing on the set, and we had just run the scene, and the director's sitting out in the audience, and he's giving us notes. And I looked at him, and I thought, he's having way more fun than I am. So then I started pursuing directing. And then once I started pursuing directing, now I kept doing everything I had been doing. I kept designing. I started writing plays. I was acting in plays, and I was directing all the time I was in college. And that's how I got into that world and finished at college, went to Yale Drama School to study for MFA program. And then after that, eventually found my way to Los Angeles, where I was directing theater, but I was also then moving into film and television. So that's how I got in.
Okay. And you, as I may have mentioned, considered a director's director. So let me ask you this. We'll cut right to the core of it. What should all directors have?
What should all
What's the number one
directors
thing?
have?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of different jobs they have. There's a lot of different, balls they're juggling. But what's
Yeah.
one? What do they have to have? One thing.
Well, one thing, I'm going to make it two, but one
Okay,
thing
that's
is,
fine. I'm easy.
these will be, the first one will be very obvious. A good sense of story and how story works. In other words, a good background and education and stories. Study stories, study scripts, not just film scripts, any kind of script, any kind of stories. The directors who really understand either by education or by instinct how a story works are going to be stronger directors automatically. Second thing is understand this is where my training comes in and my teaching and consulting comes in. Understand the artistic and psychological techniques of working with actors, because if you're going to make a film, at the center of your film is going to be people. Usually, there's a few films that there's no people, but they're going to be people, and you're going to have actors playing those people. So, and your job is to not only cast them, but work with them, rehearse with them, and get the performance you need to make the story work. And that process of working with actors is very unique in one way. A director, a film director, and I know this as a director and having worked with a lot of directors, if you don't know, let's say you really don't know much about cameras. You don't, I mean, you know what they do, sort of, but you don't have a lot of experience or background.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be fine. Get a good cinematographer, establish a good working relationship, and a good lighting gaffer and all that. In other words, you can be fine because there are people there to help you, because there are other people doing this. The same with sound, the same with costume design, production design. You don't have to know a lot about it. You have to know what you want, pretty much. But in the world of working with actors, and this is almost a joke, if you're on the set and you're not getting the performance you want from that actor, don't think you can turn to somebody else in the crew for help. It won't work.